If someone told me 5 years ago I could make the same amount of money, if not more, working 3 hours a day versus 12 hours a day, I would be throwing hundreds off my balcony. Because working harder does not make you more money, and to be honest, sometimes it can make you less money because you're burning yourself out. Now, even though I did make $500,000 in my business by the age of 28, I had to work my ass off for the first few years in order to make that happen. Until June 2021 happened. A month in my life that truly changed everything for me because I ended up making $40,000 that month, working honestly less than half days, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened in today's video. So grab a snack, grab a drink, get all comfy, because by the end of this video, you will never need to overwork yourself to make money, because people that are telling you you have to work harder in order to make more money, they don't realize there's an easier way. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sabah. I built a multi-six-figure business in my 20s by learning the cheat code of making money work for you. So let's rewind and let's take it back to June 2021. Honestly, let's take it back to like May 2021. Up until that point, I had built my business to multi-six figures. I was making $30,000 months, $20,000 months. Back in October of 2020, I actually had my first $50,000 month. But the business I was in started to turn into a business that I didn't even really love. I was helping other business owners market themselves online to attract new clients. I had a sales team, I had coaching assistants, I had regular assistants, and it got to a point in my business where I was working more than 12-hour days, but I wasn't making that much money. So it got to a point in May of 2021 where I asked myself, Sabah, is this even something you want to continue doing? Where is the next chapter in the trajectory of your business, of your life? Because the main reason why I started my business in the first place was to have the freedom, was to have the flexibility, of course, to make the money, but have a real impact. And the business that I built started to turn more into a chore and a real job versus something that I actually loved. So in May 2021 of that year, I decided I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take myself from Florida to Chicago for the entire month of June just to relax, because Chicago was one of those towns where I went to a lot growing up because I'm originally from Iowa, and I just needed a brand new energy. I need a whole month to really take in and figure out what I actually wanted to do. Plus, I told myself that I was gonna have a really good time, so I ended up getting a penthouse 1-bedroom suite. It was like $5,000 a month, guys. So that was a lot, even though I was making a lot of money back then. But it had floor to ceiling windows. I could see the Chicago skyline. The sunrise would just come in through the windows. It was honestly my dream apartment. And once again, when I got to Chicago, I made a promise to myself, and I told myself, Sabah, you are not going to really work that much this month, because the entire reason you are in Chicago is to try to figure out what you want to do, is to be more present, is to explore the city, is to make new friends, is to honestly just sit back and surrender. Now, of course, if you remember, I had a full-fledged business. I had employees. I have clients that I have to cater to, so I couldn't technically take the entire full month off. But remember, previously, I was working 12-hour days. So I told myself, okay, you can only work half days, and then the rest of the afternoon, it's to yourself. Go explore, go do honestly whatever the heck that you want. So I told my team, hey guys, we're gonna continue business as usual, still do your day-to-day tasks to basically maintain the business. You don't have to do anything beyond that. We're just gonna act like it's a normal month, but I am not gonna be doing anything new. So I led with that energy the entire month. I still did my calls, I still catered to my clients, and it ended up maybe being only like 3 to 4 hours of work a day. And then I would take the rest of the day off to go shopping, to go to museums, to walk around downtown Chicago, because it was also in the summer, so it was quite beautiful out. And you'll never guess what happened. That month, I ended up making $40,000 by working less than half days every single day of the month. I had clients coming out of nowhere, paying in full for my highest package back then, which was like $20,000 for a 6-month program. I had people in my audience that I did not even know wanted to work with me literally come out of the woodworks and be like, hey, I've been seeing you. I want to work with you. Here's $1,000. Now, the last day of that month, before I was packing up all my bags to go back home here in Florida, I asked myself, I'm like, how did this happen? What was it about this month versus all the other months that allowed me to make so much money? Honestly, more than other months, because I wasn't making like 40 grand a month every single month. What allowed me to make that much when I wasn't even working that much? What I realized was it wasn't the amount of hours and effort in that allowed me to attract that cash. It was the energetic alignment of my mindset of what I actually want to receive. And on top of that, having a maintenance mindset. Now, here's what I mean about all of this. The thing about June 2021, when I was in Chicago, I also did not change the way that I was spending, the way that I was living. Once again, I spent $5,000 for 1 month of rent in Chicago. I would splurge going on dinners. I was shopping all day long. I was paying for activities to do. Like, I was not being conservative with my money. I was spending it as if, once again, I was making thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And guess what happened? I actually made that much money. I acted as if it was already mine, but this is when I realized most people make money this way. Now, most people have the belief, and they've adapted, that the more hours you work, the more money you make. And this is just a simple chart that I made to show you guys the correlation with this, right? And the typical 9-to-5 job is the more hours you work, the more money you make. Now, eventually, if you follow this model and you follow this system, guess what happens? You start to burn yourself out because you end up working 8-hour days, 12-hour days, 15-hour days. But guess what? You also reach a cap. So for an example, if you are working a 9-to-5 job, but you're only getting paid $20 an hour, there's a cap because you cannot be working 24 hours a day. And guess what happens when you reach that cap? You can't make more money. So eventually, even if you start to work even more and more and more and more, guess what happens? Your mood starts to get frustrated. You get irritated. You get tired. And guess what that's a vibration for? Not more money. That's a vibration for lack, scarcity, anxiety, depression. And thus, that is why people who work so hard will still never have enough money to live, right? They are still working paycheck to paycheck. They're still living paycheck to paycheck. Like, I always think about people that work so hard physically, like farmers, people who work blue collar jobs, like they're working all day. They probably put in more work than traditional 9-to-5 secretary corporate jobs, but they're still not making millions of dollars. Why? Because they're following this broken system that society put on us. So the epiphany I had in June of 2021 was I don't need to necessarily work more and put in more effort and hours to make more money. I have to energetically align myself with the mindset of how much I actually want to receive. So that's when I drew out this chart. Now, this system is not about sitting back and not doing anything, because remember, in June when I was in Chicago, I was still doing aligned action. I was doing just enough to maintain my business. So in other videos, I've talked about maintenance energy, which is basically manifesting from a state of, oh, I already have it, therefore I'm just gonna do basically the bare minimum to maintain what I have. So you can see here in this chart, at the bottom you have aligned action, and on the side you have mindset. Now, the mindset is basically all about matching it to the aligned action that you're taking. So for an example, once again, if you want to be a content creator and you want to get paid for your content, probably working 12-hour days creating content nonstop is not going to make you more money, because you just know that is not the mindset that other influencers and content creators probably have. They're already making millions of dollars, because if you go to their profile and you look at their stuff, they're probably posting once or twice a day. So if you tap into that energy of a content creator that's already making 6 figures, you know the aligned action that you're probably taking throughout the day is maybe brainstorming for a little bit. Maybe you're posting once a day, maybe twice a day, and then the rest of the day, you're just doing whatever the heck that you want. And then over time, as you start to align more with your mindset and more with the aligned action, you really start to get into that flow. You get into that surrendered state. You really sit back and you receive. That is where those honestly magical months and magical days would happen, like what happened to me back in Chicago, where I ended up making $40,000 in 1 month without working that much. So the 3 things that I would recommend you to do if you really want to adapt this mindset, you want to adapt this system of, oh, I don't need to work more in order to make money. I can actually be more in order for money to attract and flow into my life. These are the 3 things that I did. But once again, I just want to preface and say, if you believe that you have to work more in order to make money, that is a belief that you want to drop today, because all that is going to end up doing to you is burning yourself out, overworking, making you frustrated, making you overwhelmed, and honestly making you do things that question why you even started it in the first place, and that's not the vibe here. So the first thing that you want to do is get clear on how much money you actually want to make. Now, if you want to do this much more open and much more fluidly, you can kind of just have an intention, because once again, when I was in Chicago, I didn't tell myself, okay, this month I want to make $40,000. What I told myself was, okay, this month I know I'm going to make money. I just don't know how much. And quite frankly, I don't really care how much. However, I'm still going to put in, once again, the aligned action, the maintenance I need to do in order to still keep my business afloat. So you get to choose if you want to have a loose-ended goal like $10,000, $20,000, just have that in mind, but don't be so attached to it, because that's when the opposite effect can happen and then you start to overwork yourself. And then when you have that intention, you have that goal, the second thing that you want to do is take a look at what are the aligned actions that I need to do to just maintain that goal. So once again, if you're already working a job, you're already working in a business, you already want to be a content creator, what would you be doing every single day to once again still move the needle forward, to still maintain what it is that you already have, but not overdo it, not compensate on actions because you think the more you work, the more money that you're going to get in, because that is not how it works. So what I told myself in June was, okay, once again, my day looked like in the morning, I'm going to do my meditation, I'm going to work out, and then I'm going to check my emails, I'm going to check my inbox, I'm going to coach my clients for an hour, I'm going to create my social media posts, I might, go back and forth with my team on a few ideas, and then that's it, because that's honestly all I really needed to do to market, to support my clients and bring more clients in. And side note, I completely forgot to mention this earlier. I actually had scheduled like a training masterclass to do in June. It was like an Instagram masterclass with like 100 people, but I actually ended up canceling that because I felt like I was overdoing it. I felt I was doing it to compensate on the fact that I wasn't doing enough that month. And guess what? When I canceled it, nothing happened. My business was okay. I was okay. And I ended up making more money. So once again, you just want to catch yourself and really ask yourself, when you're about to do an action, when you're about to do something, does this feel energetically aligned? Does this feel really good? And if it doesn't, if it feels like you're doing something just to compensate once again on the fact that you want to make more money, you want to do extra things, you will know when you're doing something that's aligned and something that's not aligned. And then step number 3 is the easiest part. Do the action and then sit back, receive, and surrender. Do anything else aside from overthinking and thinking about the action that's going to bring you the money. Because for me in the afternoons, I didn't even think about my business. I might still have been posting on Instagram stories. Maybe I still would be on Slack sometimes responding to my team members if they were asking me questions. But for the rest of the day, I would honestly just be present. I would enjoy the fact that I was in Chicago. I would enjoy my lunch. I would enjoy meeting new friends and new people there. Like, I was not worried about anything. And this is the key when it comes to not working harder to make more money. You want to be so present and you want to be so certain, knowing that what you have done is enough. The aligned action that you have taken is more than enough for you to receive. Because when you do that, you are going to be operating from an energy where money is flowing to you, not from an energy where you are chasing money. Let me know in the comments if you're gonna try this out, and if you haven't watched my video on my full breakdown of how to manifest, if you really enjoy this type of content, you really love this type of energy, this video, you want to live a life where everything comes to you, make sure to watch my full breakdown on how to manifest. And of course, as always, don't forget to subscribe. I love you so much, and until next time, make sure that you stay unforgettable.